Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back, y'all, with a brand new review for Ready to Love Season 7, Episode 5. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you like the video for me because it helps me out in the algorithm. Child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. When the episode first opens up, we're still here waiting to see who will be eliminated. So they decide. Corvea, you are not ready to love. Let me tell you something. I'm actually shocked that she was eliminated. I really am. I am really shocked that she was eliminated. So DeMario said, he wanted to use the lifeline, but it had to be unanimous, and none of the men wanted to agree on Corvea because Corvea was trying to ride in a little red Corvette, honey, and if you ain't got the change, if you ain't got the coins, she didn't want nothing to do with it, okay? So she said, that he was her strongest connection, but she's not going to hold him back. If he wants to talk to other ladies, then feel free, because what's for her is for her, and if he wants to find his way back to her, then he will. And I thought that was a very mature answer. So, child, we'll see you later. Moving forward. So then Tommy tells the ladies that they have the power this week and they're going to have a little bit of an after party at the Hard Rock because, honey, they feed them now. Seasons back, they exposed them about not feeding those people. Baby, there has been food in every single episode after that. So he's like, y'all can go to the Hard Rock, enjoy yourselves, go back on dry land. He's like, I'll see y'all back at the lounge. Clap to let me know how sexy I am. Sir, goodbye. Goodbye, Tommy. Go on about your business, honey. So they get to the Hard Rock. Morgan, DeMario, and Tony, they're all at one table, right? So Morgan asked how they felt about Corvea being eliminated. DeMario said, it's tough because they had a connection. Over at the table with Marcia, Mark Anthony, and Susu, they're talking about how many siblings they have. And Sue said that she had 6 older brothers. Child, that's probably why she's so male identified. So Mark Anthony was like, yeah, you told me you were a mix between Rihanna and Claire Huxtable, and I thought that was dope. Rihanna? Where'd she get Rihanna from? Now, I know Claire because she was an attorney and on TV, and Susu is an attorney as well. But Riri? Okay, girl. Over with Anthony, Cynthia, and Blake, they're also talking about how tough the day was and how hard it was to make a decision. And Anthony said, it was difficult, but we are all going to be in that situation during this process. And Cynthia was just like, yeah, it's getting tougher now, especially with you making connections with people and they might be getting sent home. Over with Marcia back at her table, she's telling them how she hates elimination, but it's okay because at least she can get some context after she sees the person and she could understand why the person felt the way that they did. So here goes Susu. She throwing shade at Jeffrey. Talking about, yeah, it's like Mark Anthony dating somebody with kids. Yeah, that would be tough. Girl, worry about yourself and not about her and her kids. See, I don't like that. I don't like that because it's already tough enough for us single moms to date. It's really hard. So you trying to throw it up. Yeah, like you dating somebody with kids. Girl, be quiet. Okay, that's why Jeffrey gonna eat you up a little bit later. Now, I know the people don't like Jeffrey, but I don't have no problem with Jeffrey getting the girls together. I have absolutely no problem. Moving forward. Susu is starting to annoy me. Okay. So then her and Blake go off to the side and she tells him how she had a talk with Jeffrey. Child, that's the only reason why he pulled you to the side. He wanted to see what went down when you talked to Jeffrey. And she said in her confessional, Jeffrey coming over to her and DeMario was like a kid coming over to the adult table at Thanksgiving. She's like, I wanted to assist her, but, no good deed goes unpunished. Girl, how were you trying to assist her when all this stemmed from you running your mouth to begin with? He should have never known what she said in the church, honey, because the show ain't no lounge. And why are y'all sitting up talking about Jeffrey? Shouldn't y'all be talking about your connection? He pulled you aside to gossip about another woman? Girl, pay attention. I wish I would go to the side and have a full-on 20-minute conversation about the next woman. Not y'all trauma bonding over y'all hate for Jeffrey. Child. So he asked if she had any concerns going into the week. And she said, my concern is that I would rather leave with nobody than to leave with the wrong person. Well, child, pack it up, honey. He's like, so if I'm eliminated, you going with me? Child, she's so silly. She just might. Moving forward. In the next scene, Cynthia goes for a date with Anthony. And baby, Anthony showed up sharp. Do you hear me? As my grandmother would say, sharp as a tack. Baby, he was clean. I said, okay. It is amazing what a little suit can do for you. See, that's why you got to put your clothes on right. She was pleasantly surprised when he cut that corner. I am so happy that they both dressed for a grown-up date. Because people don't know how to put their clothes on no more. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but these people really do not know how to dress when it's time to step out grown and sexy. Like, men do not know how to put their clothes on. So, honey, I was happy he showed up in his suit. He looked nice. So they started talking about growing up around the corner from each other, but they never really crossed paths. And she was like, well, I was a tomboy. I have 3 older sisters, and the third oldest, she just got married. So he was like, well, do you think you're going to get married? Do you, see that in your future? And she was like, I hope so, because I caught the bouquet. So they like talking about that, and she's saying she wants marriage, and he asked if she thinks that the person that she might marry is in this process, and she said she hopes he is, because she doesn't want to go through life alone, and I can totally understand that. And he said he's looking forward to marriage and possibly kids as well. So in the confessional, Cynthia said she was feeling Anthony a lot, but she was like, you know what, let me just go and stop, because y'all gonna think I like everybody I go on a date with. But Anthony is just different. They actually seem like they have a cute vibe. I think I could see them together, but then I was thinking about it. She actually changed my mind about Andre as well. So it might just be the Cynthia effect. Have you ever seen a woman that could be placed with any man and she makes him better? You make me better. Shout out to Neo. I feel like that's what Cynthia does. When she gets with the men, she zhuzhes them up. So it's like you can see a connection because she's so approachable and down to earth that it's like, okay, girl, y'all doing something, even though it might not be nothing. So I don't know if it's that or if they're actually a good connection. Child, I don't know. Moving forward. In the next scene, Demario and Jeffrey go for a date. Now, baby, this right here was a fool. So he feels like their connection changed after she kissed Mark Anthony. The connection did not change. You changed. Okay? That's what changed. She's still the same baby talking low, eye sitting person she was before she kissed Mark Anthony. But let's get into it. So she asked what he thought about the boat party, right? Because they just get right into it. He was like, it was interesting because of the game. Child, he can't wait to talk about this game, okay? She said, yeah, but I feel like you were acting a little standoffish on the boat. Like I didn't really get a chance to talk to you. He said, well, you were busy during the game. Sir, how old are we? Just say what it is. If you're mad, just say that. She's like, during the game? Basically, he butthurt about the kiss. He said the kiss threw him all the way off. And so she's telling him that it's only a game and the kiss is a part of the game. And he's like, well, you could have rejected it. But why would she reject it when y'all are not a couple? And also, let me say this, because I saw 5,000 comments with this thing. Okay, listen, y'all. I go strictly off memory when I do these reviews. I'm just writing down a few notes and then I tell you what I saw in the episode. My mistake. Jeffrey's card said kiss your strongest connection. And that is why Mark Anthony kissed her. I got it. Ooh, child. Y'all was like, no, it's the card. It's the card. I'm like, ooh, child. My bad, honey. My bad. I got it, y'all. Her card said to kiss your strongest connection, and she kissed Mark Anthony, and now Demario and his green eyes are in their feelings, child. So she's like, well, it was just a part of the game. He, in his confessional, he was like, yeah, it's just a hard no for me, but I'm not mad. Well, you seem mad. You sure you're not mad? So she explains that she went out with Mark Anthony before the boat ride, and she has not seen Demario. Even before the kiss, she had not seen him. So he gonna say, well, yeah, I know. She said Demario was giving Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Well, honey, I guess that's that Gemini in him, because Marcia was sitting over there and she already figured out that he was a Gemini. So shout out to the Geminis. I'm not saying this is all y'all, but sir, what is wrong with you? So she was like, well, Mark Anthony was applying pressure on the boat. Were you applying pressure? He gonna say, I ain't even speak to you. If you didn't even speak to her, why would she go up to you and kiss you? And let us not forget, when they were talking about, I forgot what it was, and you licked your tongue out over there toward Corvea. Sir, if you don't be quiet with these double standards, I don't want to hear it. She was like, well, why would I choose to kiss you when Mark was applying the pressure? Then he gonna say, well, what would your kids say about you kissing somebody? What do her kids have to do with this? I felt like that was so unnecessary. I would not have even dignified him with a response, honey. I would have just packed up and got right on up out of there. Do you hear me? I would have been like, sir, you can sit there and talk to yourself. She was like, what would my kids say about a guy that claims he has a connection with me but walks right past me? Got him. Honey, I know that's real. So in the confessional, he said, you know what? I dodged 3 bullets. The first bullet is I haven't seen her without makeup. The second bullet is she doesn't take criticism well. And the third bullet is she kissed a random. Oh, but baby, it's quite the opposite. She dodged a huge green-eyed bullet. Number 1, you're controlling. Number 2, you're insecure. Number 3, you don't know how to communicate. And we're going to throw in not much of a personality for good measure. Like, sir, what? Like, would it have been a random if she would have kissed you? What? Say what now? No? Oh, okay. And all of you are randoms at this point. We're on episode 5. None of y'all know each other. So what was she supposed to do? Like, I feel like you're just pulling things out of thin air. You need to go see if Corvée is still at the light, honey, and go that way. Moving forward. So, child, they walk out of their date and the both of them know that there is no future with either one of them. In the next scene, Marcia goes for a date with Jeffrey, Blake, and Blue. She wanted to try to ease the tension between Blake and Jeffrey. Not Marcia producing a scene. Child, these two do not need to be in the same setting. Okay, please stay on your mutual sides of the earth. Child, as soon as Blake saw Jeffrey. Now, this is a meditation date, right? As soon as Blake saw Jeffrey, what no more meditation? Ain't no meditation, but honey, it wasn't no meditation. You hear me? So they started doing this meditation where they lay flat on their backs with their eyes closed. And she's going to be doing the sound bowls. And baby, that lady ding that bowl. Everybody is relaxed. Everyone's eyes are closed. Child, they look over at Blake. His energy all wrong. Do you hear me? His energy is all wrong. But I'm not shocked. Okay? I'm not shocked that he's sitting there with his eyes wide open. He probably kissed with them eyes open too. It's giving a little weirdo. So he's sitting there with his eyes wide open. Everybody else's eyes wide shut. And we're moving on from that. So after they're done with that, they're going to be doing vision boards. So Blue tries to break the ice. And so Marcia brings up the tension between Jeffrey and Blake. So Blake is like, yeah, I'm not speaking on it. So Jeffrey said, look, I'm fine. He was the one that was hurt. As far as me, I'm great. So Blake was like, so there you have it. Okay, so we can just leave it alone. So they started revealing their vision boards, right? Marcia had Rihanna, a money tree, somebody cooking. Child, Rihanna is heavy on this episode. Shout out to Rihanna. Shout out to the Riri Navy, honey. Rihanna is heavy on this episode. So Blake shows his, and it was watches and a mansion, and the watches symbolize time. Because time is like the most important piece. Timepiece. You get it? So Jeffrey pipes up. And she was like, yeah, I just noticed that it was all materialistic. Ma'am, don't talk to him. See, you're trying to bait him into some mess. Now, Jeffrey, I don't mind when you're saying stuff that makes sense. But speaking to him don't make no sense. You don't even like him. Who cares what's on his board? We don't give a damn. Girl, why are you asking him about his board? I just thought that was trying to get some mess started, child. So Blue shows his. It was very creative. It was very symbolic. It was about travel. And he had like a little door that left it open for different opportunities and stuff. And he really impressed Marcia. And Jeffrey is like, you know, Blue really impressed me. And without like not even talking to me, like our boards are like similar, but in different ways. Your boards are totally different. Okay, Jeffrey? Your board had kids, family, family, family. His board had travel, 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 open to new opportunity. Girl say, what now? It wasn't the same. But okay, girl. Marcia, he say you just a friend. Honey, so let's not even focus on Blue. And Blue, I be forgetting you there. You're going to have to pipe up, honey, because it's like all of a sudden you just pop out. And I'm like, wait a minute, I forgot all about Blue. So Blue, we're going to need you to zhuzh it up. Marcia, he said in the gentleman's lounge, honey, I hate to break it to you, that he sees you as a friend. So don't waste your time over there. Plus Jeffrey got her eyes on him, child. She trying to date everybody. Moving forward. In the next scene, Morgan goes for a date with Tony. And Tony showed up prom ready, baby. Do you hear me? It might have been prom or wedding ready. He on his black and his white, giving a little chest. I said, Look at Smooth Tony. Pretty Tony, what they call him. So they start talking, right? They start flirting a little bit. Across town, Joe and Blake are going out. Why is the question? What are these two doing together? They don't even look right. Okay, aesthetically it's wrong. But let's just see what's going to happen. So she says she enjoys a thinker. And Blake thinks before he speaks. Girls say, what? What Blake are you talking about? And the only reason why he thinks before he speaks is because he's trying to register the 1 or 2 sentences that he says per episode. Ciao. So they sit down. And she's like, so how's your day? He's like, oh, well, it's going pretty good. But, you know, this is your day. Like, how's your day? Like, you can go ahead. How's your day? I'm like, oh, Lord. So she asks where he is in the journey. He's like, well, that's a general question, and I can only give a general answer. Okay, robot. Let's just, child, wrap this up. Child, wrap this up, honey. Wrap this up. Let's go back to Morgan and Tony, child. Back with Morgan and Tony, he's asking her if she's ready to be a stepmom. Ooh, child. This show always reminds me of what's out there. Is she ready to be a stepmom? She's like, I'm ready for a partner. So he asks who she wants in the process. And she said, I want me a man's man. But, you know, there are plenty of great men here, and I really like Lyndon. Y'all know what? Morgan is giving me two can play that game vibes. I noticed that she always throws up Lyndon to rile Tony up and make him jealous. And that is probably why we see later on in the episodes, when we see that preview of him kind of saying to Lyndon, what do you think about me kissing Morgan and you not kissing Morgan? Morgan has been planting these seeds since the beginning. He was like, I don't care about them. I didn't ask about the other contestants. She's like, well, I'm answering you because you asked me a question. And there are other great men here. Yeah, she's trying to make him jealous, child. Anywho, back over with Joe and Blake. Child, it's like pulling teeth. Child, it's like a bad interview. She's like, so what do you do again? He said, I work in corporate security. I used to be a military police officer. Okay. So I feel like that explains part of his dry personality. It's giving me something. Good question, Joe, because it's giving me something. Because, honey, I forgot he was top flight security of the world. But he was also a military police officer. So that makes sense. That makes sense. So he asks what she likes to do. And she's like, you know, I like to turn up at the house. I like to be with my friends. I like to turn up. Joe. Oh, honey. In the confessional, he said, yeah, there's too big of an age gap and life experience, but she's a very wonderful lady, and I hope that she finds her person. I like me some Joe, but I don't think Joe's man is on this season. She might should have been on the season with Shoulder Shaking Frank. Those men were more fun. These men are not very fun, and I don't see Joe's personality come out when she gets with these men. I don't know. It just ain't given. I don't know if maybe I need to see her on a date with. I don't know. I don't know who I would put her with, but I don't think her man is on this season. So, child, let's wrap this up because it's painful to watch. This was like a bad interview. Blake, don't call us. We'll call you. Moving forward. Back with Morgan and Smooth Tony, she's asking him why he's ready for the process. He said because he's tired of being lonely. I'm so sick of being lonely. Shout out to Phil Mob. And he said that, you know, he has his kids, but he also wants more. So he was like, why are you ready? She said, because I'm happy. I'm in a good space right now. So he was like, do you think I might be your person? She was like, yeah, if you play your cards right. But I mean, you need a little less cards. Morgan, you have other connections as well, ma'am. If you feel like this now, how are you going to be when y'all aren't on scheduled dates and y'all are out in the real world? Girl, you got it. Don't worry. You got it, girl. You got it. Okay, if he wants you, he's going to choose you. You don't have to keep telling him every time y'all sit together. I mean, you like everybody. You need a little bit less cards. Why don't you get, child, that's not going to make him do right. He going to do what he going to do if he going to do it. Moving forward. So they make a toast. They share a kiss. And she's like, I'm just so smitten with him. I don't even want to leave. Child, if she like it, I love it. I don't trust Tony as far as I can throw him. And I can't pick him in his suit up, so I don't trust him. In the next scene, the ladies meet up at the back of the church, honey, because it ain't no lounge. Tommy shows up. I cannot stand them playing in this church. Every time I see them. And Tommy makes it a point to say every episode, how y'all like the back of the church? Please stop reminding us that we are in this church, Tommy. So Tommy asked about their dates, and Morgan is stuck on Smooth Tony. Marcia talks about her meditation date and how Blue caught her attention. Sis, Blue said you were a friend. Do not focus on Blue. Let's cultivate another relationship. And Jeffrey looking at him as well. So child, just let him go, child. Susu said Anthony, but Blake is her top connection and blah, 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 blah. Honey, you know all about Blake. She said that Anthony taught her a few dance moves and she felt like they were the only two in the room. Cynthia said Anthony because when he cut that corner, yes, ma'am. Anthony was given the zhuzh that should be given. Do y'all hear me? She said they're both Haitian and they get each other's culture. So Mercedes said, it's out of Mark Anthony and Anthony. Honey, Anthony and Mark Anthony. Which Anthony will I choose? Like, what's it gonna be? Child, Anthony a hot commodity. Jeffrey said Mark Anthony as well. So then Tommy asked who they weren't feeling. So Mercedes said DeMario. He felt like after Corvea left, he kind of disappeared. Jeffrey brings up her awkward date with DeMario and how he brought up her kids, asking how they would feel about her kissing Mark Anthony. And she was like, yeah, so he was just really upset about the kiss. But then after that, because he knew that they were meeting, he texted her saying that he wanted to make it work because he felt they had something special and he wanted to iron out any bad blood that they had. Child, he just don't want to go home. So when she said that he felt like they had a spark, here goes Sue-Ann, piping up loud and wrong, talking about, well, didn't you say that you had a spark as well? Girl, were you on the date with them? Worry about Wayne Head. Don't worry about what's going on over here. So Jeffrey is like, yeah, but I kept the same energy, but it has since changed. She said, you always seem to be an advocate for the men. She's like, you always seem to be watching me and whoever it is that I go out with. Baby, the way that Cynthia leaned back when they was getting ready to get catty, baby, Cynthia leaned back like, girl, say what now? Baby, I was hollering. So then Jeffrey tells them that in the confessional that Sue-Ann should be worried about Blake and she's going to start calling her Advocate Sue. I know that's right, Jeffrey, honey. Get her together. She is overly invested with your connections. Girl, stay over there with Blake and y'all mutual hate for Jeffrey. But Jeffrey, sis, listen to me. I'm speaking directly to you, honey. I don't know if the lashes are too heavy or what, but open them eyes up. Okay, open them eyes up. Now I'm with you, but it's giving melatonin gummies. So every time you talk, I get sleepy. So I'm gonna need you to open them eyes up, sis. Okay? So here goes Sue in the confessional talking about, Jeffrey is getting obsessed at this point. Like if you don't like a person, then you just don't deal with them. I deal with things classy and some people deal with them another way. Sue-Ann, I don't know if it's the career choice or what that makes you think you're above everybody, honey, but you started this. And you and Blake bonded on the boat about Jeffrey. So what are you talking about? Y'all the ones getting obsessed. So back to what the ladies feel. Joe said that she's not feeling Blake. He ain't her cup of tea. She can't put her finger on it, but something about him ain't right. Mercedes said Blake as well because there's no connection, but she does understand Blake. Sue-Ann said, I just feel like he gives the energy where he would like to give the energy. Okay, advocate. So then Cynthia said Mark Anthony because he doesn't want a woman with kids. And I thought that was crazy because he was on a date with Jeffrey and she got 4 kids. And I was just like, now he don't want a woman with kids, honey. Didn't I tell y'all about that Mark Anthony? Child, let me find out. So Tommy tells them they know what they have to do. They still have the lifeline and don't be afraid to use it. In the next scene, it's time for the eliminate. So DeMario meets up with Joe. He just cheesing, trying to act all excited, talking about, we share some of the same views. And you ain't slick. And you know what's up? You ain't slick. Across town, Blake goes out with Cynthia. Baby, they sent the right one because she will be able to articulate to him very eloquently to kick rocks. I like it. I like it. Back with DeMario and Joe, she's talking to him. Back over with Blake and Cynthia, she's trying to let him know that the way that he says things is not landing with the ladies. He already trying to object. So she's trying to help you. Okay? Blake over there speaking his speech and Cynthia is like, sir, I think you're cool, but the way you speak to people, you need to work on that because it's getting out of hand. Back over with Joe, she's telling Demario that he hasn't given a lot of the ladies a chance since Corvea left, so for that, he's not ready to love. So Cynthia tells Blake he's still ready to love, but he needs to nip everything in the bud and just say what it is. And he said that he did get something out of his conversation with Cynthia, so that's a plus. But this show is rigged, honey. It's rigged. Blake has the personality of a pet rock. I'm not saying Demario should have stayed either. Both of them should have been gone. But why do we still have to endure Blake? He's there for conflict and to have Susu and Jeffrey going at it every episode, like they fighting about this man. And I don't like it. So Waynehead, it's time for you to go. And that was the end of the episode. So child, Blake lives to wear his mohawk another day, child. Top flight security. People need security in the world, Craig. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.